Guys and girls, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm back at Into Moto and it's another bargain bike, but not just that, it's a little sporty number today, and yeah, it's a performance test. I've not done one for a while, so I'm going to do that on today's bike. Let's have a look what it is. Today's bike is a Yamaha's YZF-R125, and yeah, there is something about sports bikes. They just look lovely, don't they? There's certainly the poster bikes. These are the types of bikes that you'd have up on your wall when you're lusting after your first bike. Let's have a look round the usual way, and of course I'll throw some specs at you as we're going, along with the price. This bike is currently up for sale at Into Moto for £3,699. It isn't a brand new bike. Brand new bike, you'd be going way over the 5,000 mark. This is a couple of years old, but it's still got the looks. Let's have a look all the way around first. So there is your close-up. You can see this bike it's a 2019 bike, so it is a couple of years old, but it does look mint, to be fair. Love the colour coded blue wheels, just goes really nicely with the bike. And as I've said, these bikes, the sports bikes, the 125 sports bikes, are certainly the ones that just have the looks, don't they? What a beautiful thing. Well, yeah, what a lovely thing. Brakes on this, what you've got at the front is a 292mm front disc and a 230 at the rear. Little cheeky carbon effect there, just looks like a bit of plastic that's been etched in, but it looks nice, to be fair. Fuel tank is 11.5 litres. Now, one thing that surprised me with this bike, and it has surprised me because it is, it's a sporty bike, isn't it? It claims to do 133 miles per gallon, which I think is phenomenal if that's true. So I'd love to hear from anybody who's had one or currently got one as to what sort of miles and range you're getting out of yours, because that for me just seems amazing. Now here's the thing that shocks me though, because this is a Yamaha, this is a Japanese sporty 125, and yet they've only gone for 11 horsepower or 8 kilowatts when it comes to power. Now I'm surprised by that, because a lot of the others are all trying to push that 15. So this one has only got 11 horsepower, but it does explain the MPG and why it's so good. So I am going to be really curious actually as to what sort of performance we're going to get out of this bike, because 11 is certainly less than all of the others. The engine that's hiding under the fur in there, it is a 4-stroke liquid cooled, and it's a single cylinder. Being a sports bike, no centre stand, just a side stand. It has got 6 gears, and it is of course a chain drive. Always a pain if you've got a chain drive and you haven't got a centre stand. You've just got to wheel it forwards and backwards to get your chain cleaned, lubed, all that stuff, or you get yourself a little stand. That's probably the best option. Weight wise with this bike, it's 142 kilograms, so again that fits in with all of the other bikes of this type. I think the CBR is around 146. They're all around the 140 mark, so it fits in nicely with the others. It does mean it's relatively light for a 125. It's easy enough to get off the side stand, and as you can see, with little to no effort I can move it backwards and forwards, so moving it around is not a problem. The seat height is 825 millimeters. Now I'm only a short guy. If you've watched the channel before, you know what I'm going to say. I'm 5'8" with a 29-inch inseam. If you've never seen the channel before, that's just for your reference, because you can see how I look on this bike and where my legs dangle, or if I'm getting my feet flat-footed. I know what I meant to say. It's been a long day and it's cold. So getting on the bike is easy enough, and you have got a raised back seat, so yeah, I can do it quite easily. I'm no gymnast. Now if I straighten the bike, yeah, I'm on the balls of my feet. I wouldn't say I was on tiptoes, but I'm probably an inch short, no, maybe a couple of centimetres off getting my heels down. So if you're taller, not a problem. You got longer legs, not a problem. If you're shorter, however, and you want one of these, make sure you go and sit on one first. Just make sure it feels okay for you, because yeah, it's not a short person's bike, this. And I've got about 10 layers on because yeah, it's cold. When you've actually got your feet on the pegs, you can see it is a very sporty riding position. I've got my back bent forward. I am in what I would call not my happy place, because sports bikes for me, they're loads of fun for a bit of time, but not a long time. And I have found from losing a little bit of weight, I do enjoy them a hell of a lot more than what I did do when I'd pile loads of weight on. So bear that in mind as well. If you are a bigger guy or a bigger girl, being bent over for a long period of time on a bike like this will take its toll on your bike. Can't speak today. It will take its toll on your back, so you will need to have regular rest stops and all that. Yeah, and if you're older like me, yeah, it does pull on your back a little bit. It can also pull on your wrists, because you're leant over, you're putting a lot of weight on your wrists, so you can end up with a bit of wrist pain, a bit of back pain. However, I'm an old whinging bloke. The younger whippersnappers out there, you'll be able to ride this bike all day, I'm sure, and it won't affect you. But it does affect me, and that's what I'm trying to say, is what affects me might not affect you, blah de blah, but it's an old person problem. Anyway, we'll carry on. It is quite a wide seat. It's very comfortable, nicely padded, no issues with the seat, to be fair. It is a lovely place to sit. The rear seat, typical of what you'd get on any sports bike. They are usually, I'm going to call them a token gesture. You're lucky if you can get 3 hands across, and they're usually very, very slim. So, you know, they're best suited for the smaller bottomed amongst us. There isn't any grab handle or anything to speak of, but you do have this flared bit in the bodywork that you could kind of hook your fingers under if you didn't want to have a cuddle. And there is some matching pegs, which is always good. It does look nice from all angles, this bike. I do like how that flares out at the back. Here's a nice look. The brake light hidden at the back, you've got to go underneath to see it, but that won't be a problem when you're riding, I'm sure. It'll be nice and bright for other road users. It looks like LEDs in there as well, so they'll be nice and bright. Just looking at the bars, again, it's just typical sports bike. They're not straight, they're kind of angled towards you. You get that with a lot of the sports bikes, and this is no different. Buttons, you've got horn, you've got indicators, there is your high beam, low beam, and your flash button. Right hand side, you've got your engine start, and then there is the engine cut off. It is a key, it's not keyless. Let's have a look. It's a nice visible screen. You've got a nice big speedo, there's a clock, there is a fuel gauge, your rev counter is going from left all the way over to right, there's a gear indicator, and there's a total miles. This has got 6,439 miles, which over the space of, what we're talking, 6 years, that's not actually that bad. That's only 1,000 miles a year, so that's really low mileage. So that is the walk round done. Let me know in the comments what you think about these bikes. Let me know if you've had one. Very important that, because I can have a look around these bikes and I can go for a little ride and I can tell you my views and my experience. However, it sounds loads better coming from an actual owner, someone who's owned one, someone who's got one, you will have had loads more experience on these bikes than me, so please do put in the comments your experience riding these bikes, any issues you've had, any positives, negatives. Feel free to share it all, because anybody looking at this video might be looking at buying one of these bikes. So the comments are always a good way to see what actual owners have thought about them. So yeah, make sure you do that. For now, I'm going to get the rest of my kit. I'm going to get myself zipped up, because I've already said it's bloody cold. I've got about, I think I've got 4 layers on. But yeah, I need to be warm. Let's go for a ride. Let's see how it copes. And importantly, let's do a performance test. It's only 11 horsepower. So yeah, I'm not confident it's going to be up there with the fastest, but I might be wrong. Stay with me, we'll find out together. So this bike is a standard bike. It's got the standard cannon, which is, I think, very rare, because a lot of people that buy the sports bikes, the naked sports bikes, one of the first things they do is change the can to something that's loud. But this, no, standard. And that's a very uneventful start as well. It just started and it's got a nice gentle rumble to it. Let's give it a little... Well, it sounds okay. Let me come down a bit closer so the mic picks it up. Sounds alright actually. I'm not over revving it, because of course it is cold, so I'm going to let it warm up gently, which will see me nicely to my usual place to do a performance test. But now I've got both feet up, it's alright, you know. It is what it is. These types of bikes, you're in a sporty position, but you're on something that looks absolutely beautiful. There's no arguing really when it comes to sports bikes. They are the prettiest, aren't they? I mean, I love cruisers, and I think cruisers can be quite showy, but when you've got something like this, it just looks lovely. It is nice and easy actually. Slow speed maneuver like that, just doing a right turn, it is very easy to do. It feels really light, as you would expect from a bike of this type. They are nimble, aren't they? That's what they're made for. They're made to be thrown around tracks, and this just at slow speeds, yeah, nice and easy. It is lovely round just these long sweeping bends. You've just got such, it's just such a delight to actually just, you know, tense a butt cheek or just push down on one of the bars, and you just glide around the bend with just little to no effort. It's actually really nice to ride, and I don't say that a lot about sports bikes, mainly because of the issues I mentioned on the walk round. And it's not a bike problem, it's a me problem, because I used to own sports bikes. I've had several of them over the years. It's just you put weight on, you get older, and it becomes a bike that's a bit uncomfortable. And I know there's going to be people in the comments who are like 120 years old that will be telling me that they still ride the Ducati whatever it is, or the GSX 1000 or GSX-R 1000 or the CBR 1000 or whatever it may be. And I get it, you know, if you've conditioned yourself to just ride those types of bikes, then yeah, it will feel normal. But my problem was when I felt like I couldn't ride one all day long and I was aching a little bit, that's when I went out and I started buying the naked sports bikes, or I started on the more comfortable bikes, the adventure bikes, that kind of thing. I moved to those because I wanted to be able to stay in the saddle for longer. 30-40 miles an hour round the little bends, it's a lovely thing to ride. It is, and I'm actually I'm getting more and more fond of it actually with every mile that I've ridden. And I do like, with a sports bike, normally, you know, they're quite slim things, and this is no exception. It is very slim. It's not got particularly wide bars, and because the bars are angled as they are, it makes the bike even slimmer, which actually makes it really good for a bit of filtering or lane splitting, you know, whatever you call it, wherever you're from. But it makes it an easy bike to do it, and getting into the little spaces, the little gaps, is just easy. But it is actually a really nice bike to ride, this. I mean, for me, I'm still standing by though that the Honda CBR125, that for me is one of the most comfortable sports bikes I think I've ever ridden. It is. It's not as like bent over the tank as this one. In fact, I'm going to get past all these because traffic is shocking. It's around that time in the day where everyone is doing the school run, so there's quite a lot of cars on the roads. And I'm on a motorbike and it's legal. I can lane split or filter, whatever, you know the drill. But I can do it because it's legal and I can. I don't want to be sat in all this traffic that you can see, and I certainly won't be on the way back. I am noticing a little bit already on my wrists, but you can, you know, try and put your weight back a little bit, take the strain off the wrists. It does make it a little bit more comfortable, but it's nice to do it as a rest, just to take the weight and pressure off your wrists for a minute. I do like it though, but I've not stretched its legs yet. I'm being very, very, like, it's just a slow town ride at the minute. Now I am heading to some national speed limit roads, so 60 mile an hour, all of that stuff. So we'll see what it's like when I take it up the revs, because at the minute just keeping the revs nice and low, it's just a delight to ride. It is. It's just a lovely bike to ride. I'm going uphill now, and this is usually a good test for how the performance test is going to go. A lot of bikes can't actually get to 60 mile an hour up here. This is doing it, and I've still got another gear, so it's still got more to give. And yeah, I'm actually really, really impressed. This has got some serious potential. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to explain the performance test, because I don't want to stay on the road for too long, because everybody always shouts at me in the comments. So the performance test is 0 to 60 as quick as I can do it. Yeah, and we just see where it lands on the road. This is of course a 60 mile an hour road that I'm on now, and the road I'm going to do the test on. Yeah, it is just basically that. I'm just going to try and give it the beans and see how fast and how quickly I can get to 60 mile an hour. And then if you've watched previous videos where I've done it on other bikes, you can actually compare this to others by, you know, the landmarks I've reached 60 miles an hour and various other points. 60 is obviously not a problem because I've just done it going uphill, so this is already exceeded expectations for me. I know it's going to do 60, but where it does 60, well, that's the thing. Is it going to be as good as the fastest bike that I've done this on, which is the GSX-R125? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's going to be as quick as that. Well, let's sneak out here and kill. Yeah, I'm not sure if it is going to be as quick as the Gixxer, but based on that little ride up here, I don't think there's going to be a lot in it, you know. Let me just, I'm going to pull in, but then I want to actually take off as quickly as possible, so I'm not staying here as long as I need to. And this, I just want to point this out, there's cars on both sides of the roads and they can get through very easily, and everyone always gives me grief for it being a stupid position. And yeah, maybe there are safer places, but there is plenty of room for everybody to get past, is what I'm getting at. Alright, let's go, let's see. God. I think that has just blasted the GSX-R out the water. What the hell? That was incredible. Wow. I mean, getting to 60 before that sharper bend is usually what I go for the better performing bikes. The first tree on the left is around like where the really good bikes get to 60. That absolutely smashed it. I was at 60 mile an hour way before that tree on the left, and I would bet, and I'm gonna have to check back at my GSX-R video, but that felt actually quite a bit quicker than the Gixxer. Wow, I did not expect that. That has just blown everything else 125 wise completely out the water. Everything else is dead to me. The YZF-R125 is the new king of 125s. Performance king. Wow. From a bike point of view, I've got to say it looks beautiful. Price wise, now this is the thing for me, is, you know, for £3,699 as this bike is, it is cheap for one of these Yamaha sports bikes. However, there are brand new lesser bikes that you could buy brand new with 0 miles, so you have to weigh it up yourself. You know, some people like a new bike because you could get a 2-year warranty, you could get, you know, a 4-year warranty, depending what brand and where you buy it and how much you pay for it and all that. Depending on the brand, obviously depends on how long warranty you get in most cases. But what I'm getting at is, you know, there are brand new bikes that you could buy for this price. However, are they going to be as good as this? Speed wise, I can confirm absolutely bloody not. No, you will not find a brand new bike at £3,699 that performs as good as this bike. That's just fact. You're not going to get the king, which is what this now is. It actually sounds alright as well. I was saying on the walk round, most people will get a sports bike or a naked sports and they go and get a change of exhaust because they're trying to squeeze all that extra bit of performance out of them. You certainly don't need to do that with this. With a standard can, it's the fastest 125 I've been on. So that's one thing, but also when you take it up the rev range, it actually sounds really nice as well. It does, it sounds really nice. Actually, far more impressed with this bike than I actually thought I was gonna be. Quite a bit more. It's unbelievable actually, because when I did the walk round, when I got my spec sheet and I went round the spec sheet and I seen 11 horsepower, 8 kilowatts of power, I did sad face. I did sad face because I looked at this bike and I thought this bike deserves to be a quick bike. It deserves to be challenging on the performance test, the better and best bikes. And then I saw the 11 horsepower and I just went, oh, that's not gonna challenge the Gixxer or those bikes that have got 15 horsepower. That's not going to get anywhere near to them. And yet then I do it and my frown turns upside down and I'm bloody ecstatic with it because it's absolutely smashed them out the park. And it just goes to show you, you know, sometimes when you see those horsepower figures, when you look at the horsepower figures and you go, oh, it should have 15 horsepower, why doesn't it have 15? Well, this hasn't got 15 and this is now the fastest 125 that I've took on my performance test. So how does that work? Do you know what I mean? It's not got 15 horsepower, and yet it's just smashed the bikes that do have 15 horsepower. How does that work? Oh, wow. That's all I can say is wow. Now I know, now I'm back at Moto. Obviously this bike's for sale with them. Now from speaking to the sales guys, these bikes are very sought after. If one of these bikes goes into Moto, very, very quickly do they sell. Now they've already told me they've had so many bites on this bike, and they've got one person who's very, very interested, who's very likely going to be coming in to leave a deposit on it on Friday. Now this video will be live on Friday, so you're going to have to be exceptionally quick and early in the morning to look at this video, find this bike, and then put a deposit on it before this other person does, because I mean, it's just blown me away. Absolutely a phenomenal bike, brilliant performer, lovely to ride. My wrists are a bit achy, but that's just a sports bike thing. But yeah, overall, what a machine. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and yeah, I'm a happy boy. I enjoyed that, really nice. So I will catch you guys on the next one. Laters. YouTube. Oh yeah, he's a killer, that's right.